have the oldest DNA on the planet, the short-statured Africans, who we see in Southern Africa and Botswana and Namibia. In October 2012, genetic study published in Science magazine found that the Khoisan in Southern Africa are the oldest ethnic group of modern humans, with their ancestral line originating about 100,000 years ago. So if their ancestral line originates 100,000 years ago, that goes far back before 10,000 BC. The Khoisan, formerly called by the derogatory term Bushmen, are genetically unique, and no other currently known population had separated so early from our common modern human ancestor, according to the report. Now, here are a couple of Khoisan women. Okay. The Khoisan live mainly in Southern Africa in territory spanning Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. They are largely divided into two groups: hunters and gatherers, the Sans people, and keepers of the livestock, the Khoi people. The Khoisan languages include the distinctive click sounds that are not found in the languages of their neighbors. Now, the Khoisan go all around the world. The Khoisan have the oldest DNA on the planet. African people are not stagnant people. African people migrate, and African people circumnavigate the globe. Okay. If we look at, where do I want to go? It's not there. It's okay. For instance, just look at this here. Let's look at this discovery from June 2017 in Morocco. This one right here. We're older than we thought. New evidence, a new find pushes human origin back 100,000 years. Now, this article is from NBCnews.com, but all the news outlets had articles dealing with this discovery. Okay, and these are actual slides from my 12-week online class, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, because we deal with all this in the class. Modern humans evolved much earlier than previously thought, researchers reported. This article came out June 2017. New discoveries at a rich site in Morocco show modern humans were hunting and probably cooking game animals 300,000 years ago. Modern humans, 100,000 years earlier than scientists have believed until now. New discoveries and new dating methods show that, in fact, many of the bones belonging to modern Homo sapiens, modern man, Homo sapiens, and belong to modern Homo sapiens, and they lived as far back as 300,000 or 350,000 years ago. The earliest previous Homo sapien bones date back 195,000 years ago. And they're from clear across the continent of Africa in modern day Ethiopia. So this discovery here pushes the timelines back, and there are numerous archaeological discoveries that have come out in the last 15 years that continue to push the timelines back. Okay. And this is why I say the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets, the more research they do, the older we get. All this is much older than we thought. Africans were circumnavigating the globe. Africans were here going back at least 51,700 years ago. And these were the Khoisan. And this is what Dr. David Imhotep talks about in his book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. And he's a friend of mine. I've interviewed him 14 times. And you've seen him here on the African History Network, on the African History Network show. And I'll show you the cover of his book, because we use that in the class. Okay. His book right here, his first book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. His second book is The First Americans Were Africans, Revised and Expanded. Okay. So The earliest previous Homo sapiens bones date back 195,000 years ago, and they're clear across the continent in modern-day Ethiopia. Taken together, the findings show modern humans were dispersed across Africa long before anyone ever thought. Dispersed across Africa long before anyone ever thought. Not only were they dispersed across Africa long before anyone ever thought, they went around the world much farther back than anyone ever thought. So Dr. David Imhotep was interviewed on WKRP in Cincinnati, Channel 5 in 2011, talking about his book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. And he talked about a discovery on the Greek island of Crete, which dates back 130,000 years ago. Now, this is an article from the New York Times. It's about an archaeological discovery. And the name of this article is On Crete, New Evidence of Very Ancient Mariners. On Crete, New Evidence of Very Ancient Mariners. This article is from February 15, 2010. And the synopsis of the article, excerpt of the article says, stone tools found on the Greek island of Crete over 2 summers, archaeologists say, are at least 130,000 years old. Stone tools, at least 130,000 years old, which is considered strong evidence of the earliest known seafaring in the Mediterranean and calls for rethinking the maritime capabilities of pre-human cultures. Now, you got the discovery in 2017 in June in Morocco that shows Homo sapiens in Morocco 300,000, 350,000 years ago. And that's 100,000 years before all the archaeologists and scientists thought Homo sapiens existed, modern man. Here you have evidence of seafaring going back at least 130,000 years ago, much, much earlier than the archaeologists and anthropologists originally thought seafaring took place, especially in the Mediterranean. The article goes on to say Crete has been an island for more than 5 million years, meaning that the tool makers must have arrived by boat. So this seems to push the history of Mediterranean voyaging back more than 100,000 years, specialists in Stone Age archaeology say. Previous artifact discoveries had shown people reaching Cyprus, a few other Greek islands, and possibly Sardinia, okay, which is an Italian island in the Mediterranean, Sardinia, no earlier than 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. See, the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets. The more research they do, the older we get. And I've been studying history 33 years. I've been teaching this class since 2017. Okay. And I've been every other week, these new archaeological discoveries come out, and it's causing the scientists, archaeologists, and paleontologists, etc., to keep pushing the timelines back. The deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets. The more research they do, the older we get. All right. Okay, so you can read the rest of this. And they found more than 2,000 stone artifacts, including the hand axes, the stone tools. And this was over the course of 2 summers on the Greek island of Crete. Okay, so it wasn't like 1 or 2 things that they found. No, they found overwhelming evidence. Now, there was a discovery in 2004 in Allendale County, South Carolina, made by Dr. Albert Goodyear, who's an archaeologist at the University of South Carolina. Dr. David Imhotep deals with this on page 14 of his book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. And they found 13 different types of evidence, thoroughly documenting an African presence in the area that today we call South Carolina, that dates back at least 51,700 years ago. They found artifacts, architecture, campsites, carvings, Egyptian writings, footprints in lava, genetic M174, the haploid groups dealing with DNA and genetics, linguistics, paintings, skulls, skeletons, structures, and tools. And his book is also backed up by 713 footnotes and 7 peer-reviewed articles. Now, there's an article that Science Daily did November 18th, 2004 to deal with Dr. Albert Goodyear's discovery. And this is a picture of Dr. Albert Goodyear here. ScienceDaily.com to deal with scientific discoveries and archaeological discoveries, things like this. So you can go read this article. It's still there. New evidence puts man in North America. New evidence puts man in North America 50,000 years ago. This is from November 18th, 2004. Okay, it's like 19 years ago. And here's a synopsis, here's a summary of what the article says. This is not my summary. This is the summary from ScienceDaily.com. Radiocarbon tests of carbonized plant remains where artifacts were unearthed last May along the Savannah River in Allendale County by University of South Carolina archaeologist Dr. Albert Goodyear indicate that the sediments contained in these artifacts are at least 50,000 years old, meaning that humans inhabited North America long before the last ice age. So if that's true, then who were those humans? They weren't European. Who were they? Well, the only people on the face of the earth 50,000 years ago were African people. And these were the short-statured Africans, who we call the Khoisan. The ancestors to the Ainu and the Twa. Okay, so this is a deep history, and there's more archaeological evidence coming out to substantiate this. So I'm not saying the Twa were not in Ireland. A good chance they were. Patrick killing 200,000 or 100,000 or something like I don't know where they're getting that from. If you got some evidence to substantiate that, please send it to me. I don't know where they're getting that from. And then we look at, for instance, like if we look at, say, Africans in Asia, for instance. Okay, I'm way over time, but we're gonna wrap this up here. We look at, for instance, Africans in Asia, and like right here, and we look at the short-statured Africans, called the Negritos. We see the first inhabitants of Asia were African people. The earliest modern Homo sapiens sapiens populations of Asia were also of African birth. Here we are speaking of the diminutive Africoids, the extremely important and much romanticized family of Black people phenotypically characterized by unusually short statures, skin complexions that range from yellowish to dark brown, tightly curled hair, and in frequent cases, like many other Blacks, stetopegia, which means deposits of fat around the buttocks. They are probably more familiar to us by such pejorative terms as pygmies, negritos, and negrilos. Similar peoples who live today in Southern Africa have been titled Bushmen. More accurate names for these latter people are the San people, translated as original inhabitants, SAN, the San people, moving slowly and sporadically from their African birthplace, beginning perhaps 100,000 years ago, and continuing through the millennia. Untold numbers of diminutive Africoids began to people Asia. Although they currently exist in limited numbers and are generally found in heavily forested, barren, isolated, or similarly forbidding terrains, the diminutive Africoids were at one time the supreme lords of the earth. The diminutive Africoids were at one time the supreme lords of the earth. It is indeed unfortunate that the histories of the diminutive Africoids, including distinct and fundamental contributions to monumental civilizations characterized by agricultural science, metallurgy, working with metals like blacksmith, like being a blacksmith, working with metals. Advanced scripts and urbanization are so little understood. Now, this is an article from, this is part of an article from Renoka Rashidi that deals with, it dealt with the African, before enslavement, Africa's ancient diaspora. This is an article he wrote for AtlantaBlackStar.com. And Renoka was a friend of mine. We know he passed away in August 2021. Before enslavement, Africa's ancient diaspora. Okay, so you can check out that article. There's a piece that deals with the original inhabitants of the Philippines. This is an article from face-to-faceafrica.com. Let me pull this up. Okay. Also, if you like this type of information and you want to support the African History Network, you can do so. $ the AHN show through Cash App. $ the AHN show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. You can register for the online history classes I teach, because I'm getting ready to teach one as soon as I finish here. I'm running behind schedule. Today's Sunday, so we're teaching Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution, U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power movement. That's a 12-week online course that I teach. Let's see here. Let's pull up this article here. This is from face-to-faceafrica.com. It's called "These Native Africans Were the Original Inhabitants of the Philippines." This is from face-to-faceafrica.com. Where is this? Okay, this article right here. Let's bring this up and close out all these ads that pop up. And we have our Cash App and PayPal information around the homepage of our website, also the AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. These Native Africans were the original inhabitants of the Philippines. This is by Farida Dawkins, October 26, 2018, for face-to-faceafrica.com. And you see, if you follow me on the African History Network, our Facebook fan page, which you definitely should, if you don't already do so, we post numerous articles from face-to-faceafrica.com. They have some really good articles there. All right, if we look quickly here at this piece, the Aeta or Ajda, A-E-T-A, the Aeta or Ajta people, Akta people, I should say, A-G-T-A, are the indigenous black-skinned people who inhabit the remote and mountainous regions of Luzon, Philippines. The Aeta are under the brackets of Austronesians, groups in Southeast Asia, Oceania, and East Africa that speak languages belonging to the Austronesian language family. Austronesians also reside in South Africa, Suriname, Mauritius, and some portions of the Andaman Islands, like the Sentinelese. The Aeta are also considered to be Negritos, a name given to them by Spanish conquerors. They have dark brown to extremely dark brown skin, kinky and curly hair, which ranges in dark brown to blonde, small noses, dark brown eyes, and possess short height. Okay, like the Khoisan or the Twa. They are also called Pugot, P-U-G-O-T, or P-U-G-U-T, and Locano term, which translates into goblin or forest spirit. Due to, and if we look at some history here, due to internal strife within the tribe, disorganization, and a weak mode of fighting off enemies, the Aita were sold into slavery in Borneo and China during the 1500s, as documented by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, Legazpi, a Spanish navigator and governor general. Here's some more pictures here. The Aita. Okay, so read the rest of this here. It says, like other nomadic African tribes, the Aita are adept at using bows and arrows. They have been documented as being excellent warriors who can attack field workers or travelers that wander into their territory. Let's see here. Parents augmentation. Okay, you can read the rest of this article here at face-to-faceafrica.com. But this deals with the original inhabitants of the Philippines, who are African people as well. All right, so hopefully you learned a lot today, and I know we covered a lot. I want to look at my list here, make sure I covered everything that I wanted to cover. We did that, yep. Christmas, pagan. Okay, non-valid contributions to civilization. We covered all of that. All right, so follow us here on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live. You can financially support us as well. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on there, because it takes a lot of work on top of everything else that I do. You can support us, $ the AHN Show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Please register for the online history classes that I teach, because we use 2 platforms to teach those classes, Crowdcast and Learn World, and I have to pay them each month to be able to have the class on those platforms. This is not free to do any of this. If you go to our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, we have the information here for the classes, and you can join me in the class I'm getting ready to teach right now. We're running behind schedule. My Sunday class, we're going to start at 2:30, but we're about to start in a couple minutes here. From the Black resistance movements, from the Haitian Revolution, U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement. So that class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. And I'm going to post the link here so you can register for the class here. Register for the full course. And if you've taken any of my online classes in the past, also email me at ahnshow@theafricanhistorynetwork.com, so you get a 50% discount on the bundle pack of courses. Then Saturdays, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'af for understanding the transatlantic slave trade. We usually do that 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The African History Network show is on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. on the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit. So we're celebrating the 13th year anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show in general. It started in March 10th, 2010. So we're celebrating our 13th anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. And in April of this year, it'll be 8 years. Let me see, it'll be 7 years broadcasting on 9:10 a.m. WFDF. But we're celebrating the 13th anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. I started March 10th, 2010 on the Harambe Radio Network. Then I went to Blog Talk Radio. We've got our PayPal information here. So, and Cash App, the links here. I put this graphic together showing our Cash App tag, $ the AHN show, because some unscrupulous people have set up fake African History Network Cash App accounts, and they've been stealing money from us. So these are 2 of the fake accounts here. There are at least 3 other ones that I've seen. I've contacted Cash App a number of times. They opened up an investigation. I don't know what they're doing. They're slow as hell. But this is our official Cash App tag, $ the AHN show, SHOW. $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael. These other ones are fake. So their tag is like $ the AHN SHO, $ the AHN S. I saw one that had like a Gmail account. Those are all fake. This is our Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW. And that's why you type in the full, if you type it in, type in the full Cash App tag, and it'll say Michael, or just click the link here. It makes it easy. Click the link right here. And this is our PayPal link also. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace. And you can email us if you've taken any of our classes in the past. You can email us ahnshow@theafricanhistorynetwork.com for the 50% discount. Also, sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, KEMET, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter as well. And I have to put that information on our new website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. All right, we'll talk to you.